The national championship is in the books, and prospects have been announcing their plans to either go pro or stay in college. And of course, some prospects have put their names in the draft and not hire an agent, which will leave the door open for them to return. But the NBA draft class is becoming clearer every day, and this is a good time for me to put out another mock draft. The draft lottery will be on June 22nd, and the draft itself will take place on July 29th. There's a lot of time between now and then, and there's a lot that can change in that time period. Without further ado, here's version 2.0. With the number 1 pick, I have the Houston Rockets selecting Cade Cunningham. This season has been nothing short of a disaster for the Houston Rockets. Their former franchise player James Harden did everything he could to get out of town. Drafting the best player available is the only option for this franchise, and Cunningham is that dude. He can play multiple positions because of his size, scoring ability, passing skills, and high basketball IQ. He can be your point guard, 2 guard, or small forward. This 19-year-old plays like a 5-year NBA veteran. Not only does he have the talent to be a franchise player, but he can handle the pressure that comes along with it. He can play alongside John Wall at the beginning of his career because of his scoring ability, but eventually Houston will want the ball in his hands full time. With the second pick, I have the Detroit Pistons selecting Jalen Green. Green jumps out at you with his unbelievable athleticism. Before the G League season, there were questions about his consistency and efficiency as a scorer, but he eased those concerns throughout the regular season with his improved ball handling and shooting, and you could easily envision Green being an elite scorer on the next level. He was able to prove that against former and current NBA players in the G League on a consistent basis. His G League head coach Brian Shaw thinks he's the best player in this draft. Killian Hayes and Saddiq Bey are nice young pieces for the Detroit Pistons, but Jalen Green is the potential star that the franchise needs. With the third pick, I have the Orlando Magic selecting Evan Mobley from USC. You could also argue Suggs and Kuminga with this selection for Orlando, but I would slightly favor Mobley as an overall prospect. He will come into the league being a good defensive player with the potential to be one of the best defensive big men in the league. He also has the tools on offense to be a complete big man. With his ball handling, shooting touch, and passing, he could be a player with literally no weaknesses. But he can be a little too unselfish at times and not be aggressive offensively. But the combination of him and Jonathan Isaac could wreak havoc against the opposing team, especially on defense. With the fourth pick, the Golden State Warriors select Jalen Suggs. This pick will go to the Warriors because it falls outside the top 3, which would be unfortunate for the Minnesota Timberwolves. This could be a piece that the Warriors could use to bring in a veteran star player, but there's no doubt that Jalen Suggs can come in right away and help the Warriors. He's a legit 3-and-D player as soon as he steps on the court as a rookie. He can be the secondary ball handler and take pressure off Steph Curry and allow him to play off the ball more. Suggs has the ability to score off the dribble, score in the paint, and play team basketball. He plays with a ton of fire and passion and loves to get his hands dirty on defense. Draymond Green would love to play with a player like Jalen Suggs. With the fifth pick, the Oklahoma City Thunder select Jonathan Kuminga. This is the easy pick for whoever gets the fifth pick. The top 5 prospects are very apparent in this draft, and there is somewhat of a drop-off after 5. OKC has a ton of draft picks over the next 3 or 4 years. Kuminga will be an excellent pick for the Thunder. He has the athleticism and size to be an impact player on both ends of the court. He can attack the basket and finish through contact, but his efficiency as a scorer went down as the regular season went along. That's something he will have to improve on. Outside shooting is something he has to get better at for him to reach his full potential. With the sixth pick, I have the Cleveland Cavaliers selecting Keon Johnson. Along with Jalen Green, Johnson is one of the best athletes in this draft. He plays extremely hard and is an impressive defender. He is a tenacious, disruptive, and very active on defense, and he can develop into a lockdown defender. Johnson is an excellent run and jump athlete who plays mostly off the ball. Offensively, he's looking for cutting lanes to the basket and attacking closeouts off spot-ups. Johnson often makes the right play and is a willing passer. He made some improvements as an offensive player throughout his freshman season, but his outside shooting is definitely his biggest weakness. Keon Johnson and Isaac Okoro would be a nice defensive duo on the perimeter for the Cavaliers. With the 7th pick, I have the Sacramento Kings selecting Turkish big man Alperen Şengün. Most fans probably don't know much about this player, but he has just as much talent as anybody outside the top 5. You could call this my bold prediction. I believe this guy will be a top 10 pick when it's all said and done. Şengün has his weaknesses just like most of the prospects that could be drafted in this area, but I believe his strengths and potential is worthy of this spot. He's the absolute magician in the low post. He has a very soft touch around the basket and has amazing footwork. Şengün scoring around the basket and rebounding reminds a lot of scouts of Nikola Jokic, and he's only 18 years old. Şengün is a good shot blocker, but he may struggle on the perimeter when there's a switch because of his foot speed. He is not proven yet to be a legit three-point shooter at the moment, but he has shot around 80% from the free throw line this season. I'm confident he will eventually stretch his range beyond the three-point line with more time. Sacramento needs to take a gamble on a talented prospect like Şengün, but more than likely he will need more time to develop his game. With the 8th pick, the Orlando Magic select Scottie Barnes. With Orlando already having young guards on the roster like Markelle Fultz, Cole Anthony, and RJ Hampton, it makes sense for them to draft at this position. Barnes then finished his freshman season on a high note in the NCAA tournament, but there's a lot to like about Scottie Barnes. He has great size and length for a small forward standing 6'8", 230 pounds with around a 7'2" wingspan. Barnes has tremendous confidence with the ball in his hands. He proved to be a good playmaker while he was at Florida State, and he loves to attack the basket. But he did struggle at the free throw line and the three-point line. For him to get legit minutes on the next level, he has to be somewhat of a threat from the outside. With the 9th pick, I have the Toronto Raptors selecting Davion Mitchell. He improved his draft stock during the NCAA tournament more than any other prospect. He, along with Jared Butler, helped lead Baylor to their first national championship. Mitchell is a game changer. He's an elite lockdown defender already, an absolute menace. On offense, he has the quickness and the burst to attack the lane relentlessly. He also has a respectable jump shot to keep the defense honest. He's already 23 years old, but that's not going to stop teams at the end of the lottery from selecting Mitchell. He's market smart with a better offensive game. Even if Kyle Lowry leaves in free agency, the defensive reputation in the backcourt won't miss a beat with Van Vliet and Davion Mitchell. With the 10th pick, I have the Washington Wizards selecting James Bookknight. Bookknight is a bucket waiting to happen. He wasn't as efficient as a scorer as many would like, but I believe that was mostly because he had surgery on his elbow during his sophomore season. Bookknight has the handles, the shiftiness, and the range to be an elite scorer on the next level. A definite 3-level scorer. He's a very explosive athlete with a lot of natural ability. Bookknight is a Jordan Clarkson type. He's not a natural playmaker. His mindset is to put the ball in the hole. I believe it'll be a mistake for a team to try to turn him into a point guard. I wouldn't be surprised if the Wizards try to trade this pick to add more defensive help around their two stars of Westbrook and Beal. At pick 11, I have the New Orleans Pelicans selecting Moses Moody. Putting elite shooting around Zion and B.I. is a must for the Pelicans. After trading away J.J. Redick and Drew Holiday, the lack of great outside shooting for the Pelicans is very obvious. Moses Moody has the game to take their offense to the next level. He averaged around 17 points in his freshman season, mostly as a spot-up jump shooter. But he did show signs he could be more than that on offense in the future. Moody has excellent size at 6'6" and has a massive wingspan for a guard at around 7 feet. The Pelicans will be lucky to get their hands on this guy who could end up being the best shooter in this class. At number 12, the Indiana Pacers select Jalen Johnson. The scouts believe the talent is there for Jalen Johnson to flourish on the next level, but there has been a lot of questions about his mental makeup over his time in high school and college. Johnson decided to leave Duke early to prepare for the NBA draft. Even though that's somewhat of a red flag, I believe some teams think his talent is too good to pass up late in the lottery. The Indiana Pacers could be that team to take a gamble on him. At 6'9", 220 pounds, he has good athleticism, is a good passer, and has the tools to be a good defensive player. But does he have the work ethic you need to stick around on the next level? Is he going to do whatever he can to reach his potential? Or is he going to mentally check out if he's not in the role he believes he should be in? At 13, I have the Golden State Warriors selecting Corey Kispert. He didn't have his best performance in the Final Four, but he's still looked at as one of the best shooters in this draft. How fitting would it be for the Golden State Warriors to get their hands on another outside shooter? As you have seen with the Warriors this year, outside of Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, they really lack another consistent outside shooter. The Warriors need players that can contribute right away, and Kispert is a 4-year player from a top-notch program at Gonzaga. Kispert is also a good finisher in transition and can run the pick and roll very well. At number 14, I have the San Antonio Spurs selecting Josh Giddey. Elite passing is something the Spurs have been missing ever since Manu Ginobili and Tony Parker left the team. DeJounte Murray is a very talented guard, but he's more of a scorer than a facilitator. Josh Giddey has the style and game to get the Spurs back to the elite ball movement they had during the Tim Duncan era. Giddey is a 6'8" playmaker who has shown potential as a scorer and a shooter, which would allow him to play both backcourt positions. He currently leads the NBL in assists, and he just had back-to-back triple-double performances. Giddey is playing in the same league that LaMelo Ball played in last year. His size, passing instincts, and basketball IQ are his major selling points. At the 15th pick, the Charlotte Hornets select Kai Jones. The big man position is the area the Hornets need to improve on the most. Jones is a long, lanky, energetic, athletic freak. He will earn minutes in his career because of his rim running, finishing, and defensive versatility. He showed some flashes of a reliable outside game from time to time in his sophomore year. You can see him developing a reliable three-point shot with more repetition. He'll come in as a power forward most likely, but as he gains more strength and muscle, you'll see him at the center position in no time. Kai Jones at the center position could take the Hornets to another level. With the 16th pick, I have the Memphis Grizzlies selecting Franz Wagner. Much like Corey Kispert, Wagner didn't leave a great impression in his last game in the NCAA tournament, but he has an all-around skill set. He might not have an elite skill, but he does a lot of things very well. The younger brother of current NBA player Mo Wagner has a good handle, good shooting stroke, is a good passer, and competes on the defensive end. And he also has good size for a small forward at 6'9". The Grizzlies have a lot of young players at every position. I believe they will go with the best player available with their first-round pick. Wagner could be a good role player for a long time. With the 17th pick, I have the OKC Thunder selecting Ziaire Williams. Ziaire has all the talent in the world to be a high-level scorer on the next level. And at times you saw that potential, but for the most part, he was a big disappointment in his freshman year. He came into the season as a surefire top 10 pick who had all-star potential, but his inefficiency and disappearance in a lot of games have dropped his value as a prospect. Staying in college for another year and improving his shot selection, efficiency, and strength could do a lot for him before coming into the league. OKC is looking for talent. Doesn't matter if you're a project or not. They are stockpiling talent in OKC, and it would make sense for them to take a chance on Ziaire Williams. At number 18, I have the Boston Celtics selecting Isaiah Jackson. Much like with Kai Jones, Jackson possesses good athleticism, good bounce, and has defensive potential. He was a shot blocking machine in his freshman year at Kentucky, and as the season went along, his offense started to pick up, and you started to see he could be a respectable offensive player in the NBA. He projects as a center, but at the moment he only weighs around 210 pounds. To be able to defend that position, he will have to bulk up a little bit to withstand the NBA centers on a night-to-night basis. At 19, I have the Houston Rockets picking Spanish big man Usman Garuba. It seems he's getting better every game this season. His overall stats doesn't really tell you how much he has improved. Garuba stands at around 6'8", 6'9", but sports a 7'2" wingspan, which will allow him to defend big man positions. He offers athleticism, defense, hustle, and toughness. He finally started getting big minutes later in the season because of injuries to other players, and has averaged around 13 points and 7 rebounds in 4 postseason games for Real Madrid. With the Rockets possibly having 3 first-round picks, drafting this kid, who is a project, is a smart move for Houston. With the 20th pick, I have the Atlanta Hawks selecting Ayo Dosunmu. Dosunmu has made improvements in his game every year at Illinois. He's a 6'5" combo guard who can create as a scorer and can make plays for his teammates. He was able to shoot around 40% from three-point line in his junior year, and that's a part of his games that scouts always question about. But his jump shot looks legit now. Dosunmu is a high character type of guy, and has shown great commitment to improve his game in his time in college. Having good size at the guard spot is needed when your star player is Trae Young, who is undersized and is a poor defender. With the 21st pick, I have the New York Knicks selecting Jared Butler. Butler could not have ended the season better than he did, as he helped lead Baylor to a national championship and was named the most outstanding player. Butler may be undersized, but he brings versatile scoring and great defensive instincts that could have him getting legit minutes in his rookie season. Improving as a playmaker throughout his time in Baylor has improved his draft stock, and can serve as a secondary ball handler as a backup. Alfred Payton, Derrick Rose, and Frank Ntilikina will be free agents this summer, so the Knicks could be looking for a guard or two in the offseason. And also with the 22nd pick, I have the New York Knicks selecting Cameron Thomas. Thomas is a guard who can fill it up with the best of them. He's a marksman from deep, but he also has a knack for creating separation and making tough shots over good defense. He has no conscience. He'll pull from anywhere on the court. You can never have too much shooting, and the Knicks could use more elite shooting on their roster. And with the 23rd pick, the defending champion Los Angeles Lakers select Chris Duarte. He's a terrific all-around player who has good size for his position and is ready to contribute. Duarte is a good shooter from distance. He proved to be a solid playmaker. He improved as an ISO scorer and is very active on the defensive end. In his college career, he has had 3 seasons where he averaged nearly 2 steals per game, shows great poise, and often makes the right play and doesn't force things. Duarte will be 24 years old before the NBA draft, but that shouldn't be an issue for most of the playoff teams that will be drafted in the 20s, especially for the Lakers, who are definitely in win-now mode. Duarte makes a lot of sense for the defending champions. At 24, I have the Rockets selecting B.J. Boston. He's in the same boat as Ziaire Williams. Came in with a ton of pedigree in high school and was projected to be a top 5 pick before the season started. But his inconsistency and bad shooting percentages has had his draft stock in a nosedive. But he has good height for a 2 guard at 6'7", and he can create separation off the dribble. A team with multiple first-round picks will be the best bet to take Boston in the first round, a team like the Houston Rockets. I could see B.J. Boston playing in the G League for at least his whole rookie year. With the 25th pick, I have the Denver Nuggets selecting Jaden Springer. The Nuggets star guard Jamal Murray went down with a devastating ACL injury and could be out for not only this season, but maybe even next season. And at the trade deadline, they traded guards Gary Harris and R.J. Hampton to acquire Aaron Gordon. Drafting a guard in the first round is a must for the Nuggets. The freshman combo guard out of Tennessee could be the move. Springer flashed a lot of potential with his scoring ability, playmaking skills, and his defense. His defensive potential and his size for a guard will help him be able to play both guard positions. With the 26th pick, I have the Philadelphia 76ers selecting Tre Mann. Getting more shooting around Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid will always be a priority for the 76ers, and Tre Mann can bring that to this team. Mann is crafty off the dribble and can create space to get his shot off. He's more of a scorer and shooter than a facilitator, but he did progress as a playmaker throughout his freshman season. At 6'5", he has the size to be able to play both guard spots. He may need more time to fine-tune his game before he gets permanent minutes in the NBA. At number 27, I have the Brooklyn Nets selecting Johnny Juzang. He's among the prospects that raised their draft stock the most during the NCAA tournament. His combination of size at around 6'7" and shot-making ability is what scouts are intrigued with the most. He can score in a lot of different ways: off the dribble, off the catch, with his back to the basket, and at the rim. You could say he's one of the most improved players in the country after only averaging 3 points a game at Kentucky the year before. With the 28th pick, the Los Angeles Clippers an outside shooter. Efficiency was a problem for Cooper in college, and with his size, he has a lot to overcome with more athletic players in the NBA. How much improvement can he make with his shooting and his defense? With the 29th pick, I have the Phoenix Suns selecting Josh Christopher. The talent to put the ball in the hole has never been a problem for Josh Christopher. He has a strong frame, standing 6'5", 215 pounds, has a good handle, and can be a very creative scorer. He does most of his scoring inside the three-point line. His efficiency from beyond the arc was not very good. Other than his potential as a scorer, Christopher really didn't show any other skills that you can feel good about. He didn't always give good effort on defense, he made bad decisions, and he was not really a willing passer. There are also questions about how much impact he can have on winning. With the last pick in the first round, I have the Utah Jazz selecting Isaiah Todd. He's probably one of the most intriguing prospects in the draft. Todd is the forgotten G League prospect after Jalen Green and Jonathan Kuminga. He has great size at 6'10", 225 pounds, and has skills like a guard. Has solid handles, is athletic, and can stroke it from downtown. Finishes above the rim with ease, and has good speed and quickness for his size. Todd has potential as a 3-level scorer with more time. I wouldn't be surprised if his draft stock rises as we get closer to the workouts and the NBA Combine. The Utah Jazz may have to trade up to get their hands on this versatile big man by draft night. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, and if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, do it right now for future NBA content.